I mean, the music's fantastic. We knew that, but I love sort of synthy, Blade Runner-esque.
Hello, and thanks for checking out the video. With this footage, we'll introduce our new mech action game, Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon. We hope it gives you an idea of this title's mood and gameplay.
Okay, good start. We may not know what's happening, but
interstellar travel is commonplace. Our story begins in a distant star system on the fictional planet Rubicon 3. Our protagonist, an independent mercenary, is smuggled into Rubicon in search of a mysterious new substance known as coral.
frankly, I'm understanding more from this in terms of story-wise versus the story trailer. So this is a good start.
There's a catapult ahead. Use it to close the gap.
Okay.
Huge multi-layered stages will let players make the most of their AC's exceptional movement and attack capabilities.
Okay. Felt kind of incomplete, but we got to see it move. Oh, it's being catapulted. I think that's what they'd said. Oh my god. Okay. That is most certainly one way to do it. I mean, it looks great. Considering the kind of like environment you're in, it's obviously not supposed to be a bright, colourful sort of place, but it looks fantastic. Okay. See now.
Overwhelm enemies with up to 4 weapons simultaneously, equipped to each arm and shoulder.
Ah. See now, the biggest question that I'd had amongst me and my community is this going to play better on controller or mouse and keyboard? Because I understood it to be an FPS game, and everyone said controller. And I'm now seeing that could be the case.
Picking up signals from AC Rex.
It feels like the aiming is meant to be somewhat generous. There's a little bit. It seems like there's a bit of snap to it.
Assault Boost is one of the core abilities at your disposal, used for both traversal and combat.
Okay.
Did you hear anything about what the Corps are up to?
Yeah, they'll be coming soon. Got us on the run. We're being attacked!
Unidentified AC! Return fire!
See, like, I don't know if that's how much of that aiming you're doing, or if it's kind of like locking onto targets. It feels like it's locking onto targets.
Take full advantage of your AC's mobility to freely navigate the environment. Use Boost to take the fight to the air, extending combat dimensions beyond the 2D plane.
Is that an independent?
Cool. Admittedly, though, I'm always terrible with that kind of stuff, but that's good to know.
Use your missiles.
I mean, it looks fantastic, so hopefully I can get a better grip of it. Yeah, ordinarily I'd play FPS games with the mouse and keyboard. I'm just better aiming with the mouse, but I think this locks on.
Use vertical catapults to gain even more altitude and launch into the action from above.
I just know I'm gonna do something disastrous, but this is good. It looks great. As someone who has no expectations because I know nothing about the franchise, it looks like it would handle very well.
Against tougher enemies, deal impact damage to their attitude control system to temporarily put them out of action.
Ah. There's a way to like ground it, I suppose.
This is called stagger. Any attack received in this state is considered a direct hit, dealing heavy damage.
Or attitude control. I guess it's pitching the nose down so you can better attack it. Customization option. This is what I wanted to know about most, but I want to know cosmetics.
Lets you exchange various parts of your AC at will, including weapons, frame parts such as the head and core, and internal parts for power management.
Okay.
Assembling an AC to fit your own playstyle and strategy is crucial to success.
Makes sense, obviously. But we mainly do wear things for fashion here, so...
Got a job for you, 621.
I guess if they all look the same,
This one's a request from the Archivist Group.
it's not so much a fashion choice anymore.
Raven, this request comes from Schneider, an Archivist subsidiary. The mission will take place in the Bonadea dunes of Western Belius. Our coral investigation there is being blocked by the Strider, a Rubicon Liberation Front mining ship. You are to destroy it.
Okay.
The Strider is a mobile resource base that was extensively weaponized by the Liberation Front. Call it the crowning glory of their efforts to militarize into an anti-corporate force. Your attack will focus on the Eye, a giant laser cannon connected directly to the main generator. It's protected by a shield, which is powered by auxiliary sub-generators.
Okay.
These should be your first targets.
Yep, destroy the generators, take down the shield, take down the eye.
This concludes the briefing. Good luck.
Okay.
Time for a little self-promotion, 621. Smash the Strider, and Archivist HQ will be sure to remember your name.
Main system activating combat mode.
Okay.
Commence mission. First, get through all that dust and make contact with the Strider.
Here, we're up against an enormous weapon that eclipses our AC in size.
Which weapon? Are they just talking about the mission in general? I feel like a lot of my enjoyment of the game is really going to hinge on the gameplay loop, right? And it does look very smooth and fluid. Generator. Ah, no. Got it.
Leg compromised. It's going down. The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
That's such a classic line. Oh, okay, and it does tell you, like, right above my camera,
Grab on and get to work on the
what your objective is for that specific moment. Like a lot of people when they're explaining this game to me, they say, "Oh, it's like Dark Souls but with mechs," and so.
We'll see you partnered up with LIACs.
Hang on. I'd wonder how much of that is just because it's a FromSoft game, or if it's because it actually plays like a Dark Souls. I think it's just because it's an AC game. It seems quite different. Not even just in the combat, just like. You've got very specific missions that you're going on and whatnot, whereas I think it feels like at least Elden Ring that I played is kind of like, you're off, go figure it out. Looks fantastic. I mean, like I said, the only thing that keeps on coming to my mind today is that it looks smooth. Because I think the worst thing whenever you're playing games as mechs is the idea of like, yeah, you want to feel the weight of your machine, and that's awesome, but you don't want to feel held back by the clunkiness of it. And they seem to have done a good job of kind of balancing feeling powerful.
Your mission objectives will range
you
from
obviously move
protecting
very
targets
fluidly.
and information gathering to the annihilation of enemy forces.
50%.
Jeez, you are just a menace. Which I know is the
Attacking a launch
point.
point. You're incorrigible, Handler Walter.
What is
How many of
that?
your dogs must I kill before you learn? But I hear you make fine hounds with the right training. Shame you'll have to die here.
I kind of like these,
Repair kits remain.
I don't know what I'm choosing to say, like kitschy lines. They feel very familiar, which I quite like in a way.
As your campaign progresses, you'll face a number of dangerous situations, and often be pitted against rival AC pilots in bitter duels.
Oh, we could be pitted against other AC
Keep the pressure up
pilots.
in these intense battles. Don't give the enemy a chance at victory.
Because we're not all owned and run by the same company?
Formidable
Good
boss
music.
encounters also await you at the end of certain missions. These fights are fast and aggressive, presenting a challenge for
Great.
even the impossibly powerful AC.
That kind of playstyle suits me really well. I'm very bad at kind of your
Observing the enemy's
low and
movements
slow.
the player can learn as the battle unfolds.
I much prefer a more aggressive, like quick moving gameplay style, so
Good
that suits
commander
me.
assembly will often provide the first step to overcoming even the most daunting foes.
Yeah, okay, you're gonna really have to make sure your build.
Invite players to take on this one for themselves and see what else awaits. Thank you for watching.
Demo?
That concludes our introduction to Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. We appreciate your continued support and look forward to seeing you at launch.
Okay. No, maybe they didn't mean that literally. It sounded to me like it was a demo situation, but I didn't think there's a demo for this game. Such good music. But yeah, setting up the right build is absolutely gonna matter for this. I mean, I guess when does it really not in some of these games, but all I'm saying is I went through my entire Elden Ring choosing my outfit for fashion, not function. But I don't think that's going to be the case here. Wow. It is so good. They've done the big feeling quite well. Okay. Okay, so all in all, I'm like pretty pleased with that. Again, as someone who I know barely anything about Armored Core as a franchise, let alone Armored Core 6. I've only seen whatever things they've put out for us. So I went into this with very low, or practically like no expectations. My community, who are big FromSoft fans, kind of would say like, it's like Dark Souls, but with mechs, and you kind of wonder how accurate or how serious is that way of describing the game? Are you just saying that because it's a FromSoft game and you have mechs, so therefore it's Dark Souls with mechs, or does it much more closely follow that sort of blueprint? I've not yet played Dark Souls. I'm actually starting my first playthrough today, but the only one I've played is Elden Ring, and it doesn't seem, I don't know if Elden Ring is just in such a world of its own that it kind of stands out from other FromSoft games, but this game in a way feels like it would play like a more traditional kind of game, and I mean that in the sense of you're given clear missions to do. They help you track your mission objective. We saw that right above my camera. They'll tell you step by step, you need to take out the leg, you need to do this. Whereas, and again, I can only really speak for Elden Ring, so it's the only one I've played, you are sort of just sent to the lands between. You kind of have a rough idea of what you need to do, and they say kind of go out and do it. I will be interested to see how much of the lore or how much storytelling kind of unfolds in Armored Core. Is it going to be a lot like Elden Ring, where you really have to seek that information out for yourself? You've got to read item descriptions, talking with certain NPCs. So that's kind of a big question mark for me. Another one that we had talked a lot about in my community, but what I'm getting a better sense of, is whether or not this would play better on mouse and keyboard or controller. The only reason I ask is that I understood that this is an FPS game, and I cannot aim with a controller to save my life. I'm a much better mouse and keyboard player when it comes to playing any FPS games that I do play. Everyone was insisting it's a controller game. I think I can see better why now. It looks like you're not really having to free aim that much. It does seem like there's some sort of generous-ish lock-on mechanic, and that the gameplay isn't so much dependent on the FPS-ness of it. It's just like an additional layer to the combat style. It's not meant to be like a skill floor, skill cap, skill check about how well you can aim, is my understanding. It seems to be much more about making sure you're good at managing all of these resources, how well you can basically use your entire kit to take down certain enemies, and it does look like you'll be needing to use your entire kit. I think something preliminary, potentially like concerns, I guess. This is just speaking from my experience. When it comes to playing certain characters that have three-dimensional movement and sort of managing aiming and stuff, it's not my forte. If you played Overwatch, a character that I've always struggled with is Pharah, for example, and it's just because I've always struggled managing using her jetpack and aiming at the same time, but this seems to be such a key component of the gameplay loop in Armored Core. You need to understand how to fight with mobility, how to fight in the air, but it does look like it's set up really well. I mean, I think that the tools are all there, and I'm hoping that the more you play it, like, the kind of better understanding and the easier it get. I think the other thing that I was also really taken with, that I quite liked about this gameplay trailer reveal, is the sort of emphasis on very aggressive, fast-moving combat. That suits me really well. I'm a very aggressive player, for better or for worse, whether it was doing Elden Ring or any of the other FPS games. I'm not really one to kind of wait back, be patient, you know, wait for an opening. I'm not defensive like that. I've definitely learned there are certain bosses in Elden Ring, if you know, you know, where you can't really afford to just be hyper aggressive all the time. You need to understand where your opening is, and so it's not that, you know, you're kind of rushing in blindly. But I am interested about how fast moving it all is. I think the last thing about this trailer that I kind of have questions around, and again, this might be something that Armored Core vets kind of understand at this point, and because this is my first one, I'm piecing the puzzle pieces together. But it did seem like you were pitting Armored Core mechs against one another at certain points. And so a question for me, story-wise, and I don't know if we know this already or if it'll kind of unfold as the story is told, but because I was sort of had the understanding that you are a mercenary against your will. I think you are bred for this purpose. So it's not that people are signing up for this. They are being born into doing this. But I assume, based on what we've just seen, there is a benefit to getting higher notoriety, or you have some way to kind of level up in the ranks. They had said a voice line that says, like, this is a self-promotion, like, do well and you'll get the attention of the right people. Then we ran into a different Armored Core mech that we had to take down. So are we all in conscription for the same company, or are they competing companies and that's why we would have Armored Core mechs pitted against one another? Or do we all work for the same company, and the reason why Armored Core mechs are being pitted against one another is because we're all vying for attention, we're all vying for promotion spot, and so we're okay just taking out other Armored Core mechs? I don't know if that's a question that should have already been answered with the information that's been given to us. I would love to hear your thoughts. Put them down in the comments, or thoughts to that in particular. 1, thank you so much for watching. 2, I absolutely will be playing this game. I stream over on Twitch, but I upload very lightly edited down videos from my Twitch VODs onto my YouTube VOD, so it makes it a bit palatable, a bit more YouTube user friendly. If you want to catch up on here, it will be all up on my YouTube channel. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, opinions, feelings. One of the things I've really loved and cherished about playing a FromSoft game, getting to know the FromSoft community, is obviously a very passionate user base. You guys have experience with this, so I love to hear that sort of stuff. Obviously, within reason, right? I'm not going to take everyone's piece of advice. You can't do that. Obviously, I don't want spoilers, so don't spoil that. But it's I try and have like a very collaborative and fun way of playing it all. It just suits me best. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, I would massively appreciate it if you could give me a sub on YouTube, follow over on Twitch if you want to watch live. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Were you impressed with the gameplay trailer reveal, or the gameplay that we saw just now? It's not really a trailer, the live gameplay that we got to see. Is there anything that you're hoping for from Armored Core 6? Is there anything from the old Armored Cores that you hope they bring back? Are there any sort of like Easter egg things that you would really love to see in this game? Again, I know nothing, so I would love to hear these things, and thank you for watching.